we're continuing now in the Dvar Malchut. We forgot to give charity. Forgot to do it. Forgot to do it. It happens. Let's give charity. God should have mercy on us. Just like we have mercy on others and give charity and redeem the Jewish people. Tzion b'mishpat teparev v'shaveh b'tzedakah. Redeem the Jewish people with charity and also remove all negative things with charity. Charity saves from death. Here we go. Okay, what have we learned? We've learned that the settling of the land of Israel is similar to our being in the world. An interesting thing, we celebrate the day we left Egypt. The date we left Egypt. Jewish people, we celebrate the date when we received the Torah. It's the holiday of Shavuot. Passover is when we left Egypt. We celebrate the date when we defeated Haman. The date when we, redeemed the Holy Temple from the hands of the Greeks. We celebrate all these days. Why don't we celebrate the day that we entered the land of Israel? That's pretty important. The date the Jewish people entered the land of Israel. It's written clearly in the beginning of the book of Joshua. The Jewish people entered the land of Israel on the 10th day of Nisan, almost exactly 40 years after they left Egypt, like 5 days short of the day they left Egypt. The 10th. Why don't we celebrate that day? Why don't we celebrate? So the Rebbe asked the question. The Lubavitcher Rebbe asked the question. And he says, in fact, we do celebrate it. When do we celebrate it? Every time you do a commandment. Every time you do a commandment, we are not only celebrating, we are simulating the entering of the Jews into Israel. Because what happened when the Jews went into Israel? There were a lot of Jews that didn't want to go into Israel. That's why they wandered for 40 years in the desert. There were a lot of Jews, all of the Jews, agreed almost as one man. We're not entering land Israel. We don't want to go in. At least now we don't want to go in. That was the whole thing with the spies, with this. Why didn't they want to go in? So the Rebbe explains they had a very good reason and a very proper reason. They wanted to remain spiritual. They wanted to remain in the desert. And in the desert, they saw God, they felt God, they ate manna that came from heaven, directly from God. No one had any doubts that God exists. No one. Everyone knew God exists. Everyone knew God was feeding them, right? And they didn't want to go to the land of Israel because in the land of Israel, it says clearly that they're going to have to work and that they're going to have to fight their battles and they're going to have to dig wells, right? In the desert, they didn't have to work. They just sat and learned the Torah all the time. It was wonderful. The Torah, there was no problems, no arguments, no anything. They were just basking in the oneness of God. There were clouds that protected them. The desert was spiritual. The land of Israel was physical. And they didn't want to leave the spiritual. They didn't want to leave their true Jewish spiritual identity. And because of that, God got very angry at them. Because true Jewish identity is to bring the spiritual into the physical. Don't leave the spiritual. But you have to be permeated enough with the spiritual that the physical doesn't disturb you. And that's the idea of bringing the Jews into Egypt. And that's what happens every time we do a commandment. We take a Jew and he does a physical thing. That's the whole essence of it. And that's what it said that God said to Adam, the first man, conquer the world. Conquer the world. What does it mean, conquer the world? Conquer the world spiritually. Give meaning to the world. Give right and wrong to the world. Give conscience to the world. Give life to the world. Give truth to the world. Bring it into the world. That everything in the world is created to serve the Creator. Everything in the world. That's the idea of the Jews coming into the land of Israel. Okay, so the Rebbe says, that's what we have to do right now. Me and you. We're coming into the land of Israel. In order to do it, you have to do it 3 ways. 1 second. 3 ways. 1 second. Hello? Okay. Now they send you messages on the thing, and it sounds like a person is talking to you. It's a real person. It says, hello, how are you? And he waits a couple seconds. And he says, my name is this and this and this. And then you start to talk and he just keeps talking. You realize it's just a recording. He doesn't care anything about you. Okay. According to this, now we can, okay, so here we are. We're in the world and we have to fix up the world. How do we fix up the world? So the Rebbe is going to say in three ways. Just like the dividing of the land was done the first time, in these three ways, it was done by Holy Spirit. There was the Urim and the Tumim decided. And it was done also by lots. And it was also done, the lots called out a miracle. So let's see, let's get into it. According to this, now we can understand what can we learn from this idea of, the Rebbe calls it thought, speech, and action. The thought, speech, and action are to be devoted to the Creator. Now we can understand in serving man in place and in time now. Now, we learned about what happened 3,000, whatever it was, 300 years ago when the Jews went into Israel. But what about me and you? They had them, the horrors, according to what the Tzemach Tzedek said, like we said before, that someone asked the Tzemach Tzedek that he wants to go. Tzemach Tzedek was close in Lubavitch. Where is Lubavitch? Is like in White Russia or something. We asked him, well, I want to go to Israel. And the Tzemach Tzedek said, make here Israel. Make Israel over here. Remember, that's how we started on Sunday. Make here Israel. Now, what does it mean? He shouldn't go to the land of Israel? No, he said, make here Israel. Well, everybody knows that the White Russia is not Israel, right? Lubavitch is not Jerusalem. Everyone knows that. I mean, that's an obvious thing. It says in the Torah, it says everywhere, right? God, God promised the land of Israel to Abraham, Isaac, Jacob. He didn't say, you know what, instead of Israel, take the Ukraine, take White Russia. It doesn't make any difference. I mean, what difference does it make? No, God gave a certain specific place with certain boundaries. It says in the Torah clearly what the boundaries are. Right? He said to Abraham what the boundaries are. It says later on, we'll see in this week's Torah portion, next week, what clear the boundaries are of the land of Israel, what they are. And White Russia is not within the boundaries. It's not there. So how could the Tzemach Tzedek say, make here the land of Israel? What did he mean? What did he mean? It says, even though that here is called Chutzlar, it's outside of Israel, and it's definitely not Israel. Nevertheless, ha'avodah b'chutz la'oretz, our service now, outside of Israel, and at the time of exile, it is a preparation for the completion of service of God and bringing a true redemption in the land of Israel. Kefisha b'nei Israel, like the Jewish people pray every day. Bring us to Israel, right? The B'nai Yerushalayim, but because we are now in exile and we are outside of Israel, so certainly, Eino Mikram Nikrit. This is not just by accident, God forbid. The reason Jews are scattered all over the world is not just because they just don't get on a plane and come to Israel. That's the reason why. Says the Rebbe, no, it's not so simple. Hashgacha pratis. God purposely scattered us around the world. And he made it difficult. And God is not making it impossible for us. He's giving us challenges, but it's only to bring out our true potential. Yeshna kavana, there is an intention and a purpose in this place itself. Shekashura yi me'en kalalas kavana, which is the intention of the purpose is to, yes, come to the land of Israel. Yes, it is to come to the land of Israel. But we're scattered around the world in order to prepare us to really come to the land of Israel. Coming to the land of Israel is not just a physical movement. It's not just moving your home from, the Odessa to Kfar Chabad. It's not what it means. That this serving God in exile, this is a preparation. And therefore, a Jew has to do his service here, in this place, in ultimate completion. I told you this before, but there was a person that wrote, I'll just tell you a little bit of the story, but someone wrote a letter to the Rebbe, someone from South Africa, and he asked a blessing to the Rebbe. He's going to come to Israel, but he wants a blessing from the Lubavitcher Rebbe. A very nice thing. I don't think the person was even, connected to Chabad. But he wanted a blessing. Every Jew can bless every other Jew. And he realized the blessings of the Rebbe, they're really powerful blessings. Right? The blessings of every Jew are, but the blessing, and he asked the Rebbe for a blessing. And the Rebbe said, not so fast. If you want to go to the land of Israel, you have to realize that Israel is a holy place. You have to prepare yourself. You have to prepare yourself spiritually to go to the land of Israel. Israel is not just a country where you can do whatever you want to. It's not a land where you can just say what you want to and think what you want to. But you're doing it in Israel. Right? You want to go to the beach. You want to do this. It's not like what is it, Florida. You can do what you want. Israel is a holy land. Right? The Zionists tried to make believe that it's not, but the fact that it is, it's a holy land. And that's what the Rebbe is saying. You want to go to the land of Israel? First of all, make where you are Israel. Make yourself holy and make the whole place where you are as holy as possible. Defy natural urges. Clarify natural urges. Maybe your urges are good, right? You have a big urge to help people. You love to help people. That's good. Don't say, no, I'm not going to do it. I'm going to be a monk or something because I don't want to be involved in the... We should do things ultimate completeness. The machshava, thought, speech, and action. Kapanini, that's what a panini is. A panini means a person that's, how do you say, what does it say? How do we define it before? The word panini means internal, but a panini means genuine, through and through. His insides is like his outsides, and his outsides are like his inside. What do they call that? Integrity, integritus? I don't know. Shamunach lagami, that a person is totally involved in truth in whatever he's doing. Be'enu choshev, he doesn't think when he's doing something about something else. So a panimi means that when he's doing a favor for a person, he does a favor for a person, he's not thinking, what am I going to get out of it? When he's putting out the tefillin, he's not thinking about a business deal. How can I got to get out of here quickly? He's totally into whatever he's doing. In order to do that, you have to realize the truth of it, how really precious it is to give charity or to pray or whatever. What he's doing is totally involved. Thought, speech, and action. What should be when you're making here, you live in Boston or someone, and he said, make here the land of Israel. To make a dwelling for God in this low physical creation, tachtonim, the low creation. In the language of the Tzemach Tzedek, Asakan Eretz Israel, make here Israel. Wherever you are, you have to make it as godly and as meaningful and as true and as blessed and positive as possible. And that means, according to the Torah, lasso, to make from this place and this time the land where you can recognize that it's Jewish. You have to be honest, you have to be helpful, you have to be brave, you have to be assertive. Heyot Yehudi hu Yisrael, because a Jew is Israel, and every place where he goes is Yesh B'kochu, he's got his power to make from this place where he is the land of Israel. And especially in the synagogues and the places of midrashas outside of Israel. Make it into Israel. And advertise it. Yeterem Yisrael, even more. Just two small stories. That is, when the Lubavitcher Rebbe came out, that he said that we should have to make big Hanukkah menorahs in public places and light them with great ceremony and get a lot of attention, put it in the papers. So all the other groups, Reform and Conservative, whatever, they came out fire against it. Fire against it. What are you drawing attention for? What are you advertising? Right, that's your branch of Judaism. It's not our branch. And not only that, it's going to arouse the anger of the whole world, and everybody's going to hate us. And that's exactly what we should have. We have to keep a low profile, and etc. And the Rebbe said, no, exactly the opposite. We have to make everywhere we are as holy as possible. That there's a God of Israel, and he's the God that's creating the world and cares about the world. Another thing is that the Rebbe, when he came to America, so on the day, the first day of Rosh Hashanah, they make what they call a talucha. No, what am I talking about? Yeah, that's right. They make what's called a talucha. A talucha is that you march to you don't march. I'm sorry. The Rebbe marched, that you go to a body of water, and there's a prayer you make over the body of water. It's a custom. It's a Kabbalistic sort of a based thing. Anyway, so they go to the body. So everyone would go quietly. There was a place in that would be they would go to a place, a pond or whatever. And the Lubavitcher Rebbe, he came. I understand that this was just like a year or two after he arrived in America. And he got all the Hasidim together and said, we're going to march down Eastern Parkway, and we're going to march down and we're going to sing Chabad songs as we go. And it was unheard of. There was a lot of the Hasidim even, that they were afraid to do it. And they marched down, they went to the botanical gardens. It's like, it's a walk of, I don't know, 15, 20 minutes or something, half an hour, whatever, 15 minutes to walk down. They marched down, and the Rebbe told everybody, and the people, the Hasidim themselves had never done such a thing like this. You didn't go on the streets and advertise and yell out your Judaism. You're quiet like everybody else, right? You're quiet like everybody. Maybe on a special holiday or something, you get an arrangement with the police, you make a special thing. But here, so no, the idea is wherever you are, advertise that there's a God of Israel, that he cares about the world, and that he gave the Torah to the Jews, and we're advertising it. Make here the land of Israel. The Terem even more, specifically by means of this, that we do this work here. By means of this, we are totally involved in serving God in thought, speech, and action, and making this world a holy place, no matter where you are. This itself accustoms a person, margilat the person, and brings him to the ultimate goal that will be Osha Avoda Khan, making here, namely coming to actually the land of Israel. Kapeshuto. V'gula mitit v'shlema. In other words, acting like a non-Jew in Israel is much worse than acting like a Jew outside of Israel. To be outside of Israel and to act like a Jew is infinitely better than coming to the land of Israel and acting like a non-Jew. Because if you're in Israel acting like a non-Jew, you're not in Israel. You're not in Israel. Maybe physically your feet are in the land, right? But spiritually, you're not there at all. You're completely not there. Not there. It's like, your wife loves the opera. She takes you to opera. But the whole time you're in opera, you sit there with things in your ears and you're listening to the baseball game, watching the baseball game. You're there physically, but you're not involved. You're not involved in the whole thing. And your wife is crying and she says, isn't this beautiful? Listen to that music. Isn't it amazing? Listen to the opera. Let's take a better example. A pianist goes to hear some fantastic pianist. Everybody in the crowd is crying, or a violinist. And he's sitting there listening to this, thing. Go get him. Yeah. He caught it. He got the ball. Yeah. Right. So he's there physically, but he's tuned into a different channel. The same thing, Jews that are in the land of Israel, and they're not acting like Jews. So physically they're there, but they're tuned into a different channel. And said the Rebbe, it's better to be outside of Israel. Let's say, for instance, this person says, I don't want to go into the concert hall. Costs too much money. I'm going to listen to the concert on the radio. Okay, it's not exactly the same thing as being right there in front of the master, hearing the thing. But at least he's tuned in, right? A person that's outside of Israel and acts Jewish, at least he's tuned into Eretz Yisrael, and he's making wherever he is a little bit of a trace of the land of Israel, an impression. Out there, like it says, the mitzvah zeman hazeh tzionim hem ka'otam achozrim lo yem chadashim. It says atem. It says that the commandments we do now are just like signs of how the holiness that they achieve in the land of Israel, but nevertheless they are signs. And especially when it's talking about preparing for the future redemption, when Moshiach will bring all the Jews to Israel. Now, incidentally, the only way all of the Jews are going to come to Israel is only by means of Moshiach. There is no other way. There is no other way. You can try what you want to, you can say what you want to, you can advertise what you want to. You can say Jews are not going to come to Israel except all of the Jews except by means of Moshiach. The idea is, like it says, Emet v'shleimot b'kol in Israel is truth and completeness in everything you do. B'kol pratim etziut adam, and all of the details of man and of the world. Everything advertises the Creator. Everything advertises that it is infinitely important. There's no accidents. There's no meaningless things that happen in the world. No meaningless human beings. Moving from this is understood that the completion of the redemption of the Jewish people, She'enyanehu Giloi, is revealing completeness, godliness in every detail, even in things which are only preparation for something else. Like we said, the lots are just a preparation for dividing the land up, but the lots themselves were holy. The lots themselves are something like Jews outside of Israel, that these themselves are holy. It depends on this, the Shudah Khan. Wherever you are, you have to make holiness. Avodat Adam, every detail of even preparation is also holy, and you have to do it with a completeness of thought, speech, and action. That's what it means. Make here the land of Israel. You have to be holy. Then when you come to the land of Israel, then it links together. Your holiness in the land of Israel, the holiness links together. And not in a way shenikar, it's not that you're just preparing for something else. You are making holiness. Because essentially, what is Israel? Israel is the revelation of God. God is everywhere, but it's not revealed everywhere. God is everywhere. So coming to the land of Israel, it's not really so much that you're moving into another place. You're just revealing what every place in the world should be. So therefore, wherever you are in the world, you reveal the godliness and the goodness of the land of Israel. It says Israel is going to spread out through the whole world. And specifically by me, listen, it'll spread out the whole world. Nevertheless, Israel will always be holier than everybody else. But only when we serve God completely outside of Israel, as much as it is possible to do so, this margila, it accustoms a person, and it brings him l'shlemu, to the completion of the land of Israel, begula amiti t'shlema, together with all the Jews in a future redemption. And I think we've said this before. The reason that Moshiach will succeed in bringing all the Jews to Israel, I mean, the Jews, they're bringing the Jews to Israel. It's like trying to tame ants or something, to stand in a straight line, right? Jews never stand still. Every Jew is different from every other Jew, and every Jew has a different way of doing things and a different idea of doing. Their personalities are different. How can you bring all the Jews all of a sudden decide to come to the land of Israel, right? How can it be? Maybe there'll be some religious Jews and say, listen, you know what? I'll call once in a while. I'll visit. I'm not going to come. What? So it says, what's going to bring the Jews? You can't force the Jews to Israel, but you can pull them. You can't push them to come to the land of Israel, but you can pull them to come to the land of Israel. But even the places where there's anti-Semitism, and that's going to push the Jews, as soon as the anti-Semitism stops, people will go back. They'll go back to Florida. They'll go back to... What's going to bring the Jews to Israel? What? The Holy Temple. The Holy Temple is what's going to pull the Jews to Israel. Why? Because every Jew will want to do all the commandments, and it's impossible without the Holy Temple. The Holy Temple is the ultimate commandment, and there's a lot of physical commands you can't do without the temple. There's also a lot of physical commandments you can't do unless all the Jews are in Israel together. In the Jubilee, So that's the commandments, especially though, that's what's going to draw the Jews to Israel. Every Jew will want to do all the commandments. You can't do it unless there's a Holy Temple. According to this, it's understood what it means, make here the land of Israel. Hagam, even though now, why all the Jews want the Holy Temple? Why? Because every Jew is the son of God. Every Jew. And the idea of being a son of God means you want to serve the king. You don't want to let the king down. You don't want to be an ingrate. You want to do what your father says. If you're a good son, and what does your father say? Do the commandments. Perfect the world. Then I'll come and I'll dwell with you. You make aliyah to the land of Israel in the way you're supposed to, then God said, I'll make aliyah too. I'll make Yerida. I'll come down to the land of Israel. Agam, even though Shinim Sabagolis were found in exile, and in 1 second, next instant, there will be a redemption, and all the Jews will come to the land of Israel in next second. It says that the Holy Temple is already prepared. That somehow or other, spiritually or above spiritually, it's waiting just to be revealed. The Mashiach will reveal it. And it says in less than, 24 minutes, it'll start working. The Holy Temple will be open for business. So in 1 second, it can happen right now. So therefore, we have to have service right now Khan here, to be shlemus, could be complete according to what situation we're in now, matzav achshavi, and the place of nochachi, right? You happen to be found in Cape Town or in Moscow or in Shanghai. What is it, Shanghai, or wherever you are? It says wherever you are, you have to do the maximum to serve God wherever you are. Number one, Mashiach will take care of you going to Israel. Don't worry about it. But first of all, you have to do everything you can to make the world, they say, fitting for Mashiach. Make here Israel. Number two, avoda service has to express itself. Whatever you serve God, it has to express the idea of the Holy Land. L'chanis kan, to bring here, in this place, the land of Israel. Bring Israel into Boston, into whatever is it, to Mexico, wherever you are. The land of Israel means land that's holy. At Shlemus Matzav Agula, that's the whole, live as though you're in the future redemption right now. Like we said, a panini, like we said, a true integrated person. Shemachnis Shlemus, that everything he does with his whole being. It never has any ulterior motives for anything. But when he serves God, it's only serving God the way that God wants. Whether it's his family, whether it's eating his meals, whether it's making money, he's totally involved in that. Begam also being Yanim Shem, even things which are just a preparation for the future redemption, being honest in business, etc. Zed Gufa Margil at Bnei Israel, this accustoms the Jewish people to the future redemption. Until it actually will bring the redemption into even at the matters. Oh, what did I do over here? Matters. 1 second. Let me just listen. Matters. Shehem Rakachana, that they are like preparation for other things, and this will accustom a person that when the redemption actually comes, that all the Jewish people will all go to the land of Israel. Simply, really, physical land of Israel. And it says then afterwards, Vatidi Meretz Israel, that the land of Israel is going, it's destined, the Pashet, to spread out, but call Aratzot, to the whole entire world. Where does it say that thing? A weird thing like that. Where does it say it? It says in a midrash called Psikta Rabbatai, and also Yalkut Shimoni, other places also. Yeah. So first of all, we'll go to the land of Israel, and then the holiness of Israel will spread out everywhere. What does that mean? It means that the Creator will be revealed everywhere in His creation. This is especially stressed in the fact that on this year, Shabbat Parshat Pinchas, right? That's this coming Shabbat. And we read about the dividing of the land of Israel is also the Shabbat when we bless the month of Av. This year it comes, and the month of Av, it comes on Shishi B'Shavua. Where does it come to us? I forgot where it is. When is the first day of the month of Av? When is it by us? I'll tell you in a second. I will tell you in one instant. Here it goes. Here it goes. Okay, where is this? Let me get my calendar. Oh, simple calendar. When is the first day of this year? It is on Shabbos, not Friday. By the Rebbe in 1991, it was on Friday. By us, Shabbat is Rosh Chodesh. Shabbat is the first day of the month of Av. It's okay. Even though that in the Torah, the month is called by the name of Av. That's what it's called. It's called Av. But the custom is we call it Menachem Av. Comforting Av. We add the word Menachem. And even more, Mitachila, it begins with the word Menachem. First of all, God comforts, and then after that it's Av. Av is something bad. It's a bad month. When the temples were destroyed, more bad things happened on the month of Av. That's when the Jews refused to enter the land of Israel, it says. Refused the land, and then by Moses. Yesh Lomar, we can say that one of the reasons it's called Menachem Av is because Menachem hints at a comforting. How could the Jews be comforted for all the pain and suffering that they've gone through? The future redemption will comfort them all. This is the whole purpose of the month of Av. The whole purpose of the month of Av, the terrible things that happened only in order to bring the comfort. Now, this really makes, if up to now things sort of didn't make sense, God creating the world, and this really doesn't make any sense. This makes no sense. And it makes no sense to me either, but it's true. What does it mean? If you think of how much suffering the Jewish people went through, God forbid, don't even think about it. But for a father to see his son, his parents get killed in front of his own eyes. And this happened millions of times with Jews, millions of times, and not just in the Holocaust. The Holocaust was worse than anything in our time. But in the destruction of the first temple, the second temple, it was even worse. More Jews, percentage of Jews were killed. There could even be a greater number of Jews were killed. And there were rivers of blood, and there was pain. And that's through the history of Judaism, there's been all of these terrible, indescribable catastrophes. Now, how could anything explain that? How could anything explain to a father, listen, I want to explain to you why it was a really good and happy thing that your son got killed. A really good thing. I want to explain it to you. Father would say, listen, just do me a favor and leave my house. There's the door. I don't want to hear any more of this. I don't even want to remember it. I don't want to think about it. He says, no, really. Yeah, really. I'm telling you, I don't want to have any, it's just too painful even to think about. And now you're going to say that the Moshiach is going to come and explain the torture and the deaths and the sufferings of tens of millions of Jews throughout history. Hundreds of millions. Who knows how many? How can it possibly be? Well, if it does comfort everybody, it's going to be something that's really, really good. It's going to be something that's so incredible good that it's going to explain all of it. Says the Rebbe, not only that, the reason for all this pain and suffering was only in order to bring this infinite good. Makes no sense, but it's true. Even more, that's why we say Menachem Av. The future redemption, this is the beginning. It comes first. And it comes before all of the descent, all of the pain and suffering. Kamayim Rizal, like the rabbis say, Ruach Elokim Merachepet Alamayim, like it says in the first day of creation, it says the Spirit of God was hovering over the face of the water. He says there was just water, that's all there was in the world. And the face of God, it says the Spirit of God was hovering over. That was in the beginning. Immediately in the beginning of the creation, there was also, it says, what's the Spirit of God? The Spirit of the Moshiach. Therefore, the future redemption, it'll just be a revelation in the future of what there already was even before the creation. So this is the foundation and the inner intention of all of the suffering of the Jewish people. Even the Av, the Shorish Umakor, the source, like it says in the Shad, Avohen the Kulam, the father of all bad. Hamakar the Kol, the source of everything. And it transforms to be even the source of all good. Av. Yesh Lomar, we can say that this was given afterwards, gives us the power afterwards, that when there does come a descent coming into this physical world, at least externally, it seems that way, is we can reveal in every tragedy, in every difficulty, that all of the things are really, when there comes tragedy, it gives us the power because good was there before, the comforting that was before, the Menachem was there before, the Mashiach was there, the Spirit of God was over the earth, and before the earth was made, before there were any potential of bad. So therefore, it gives us the power, not just a preparation for something else, but itself, that's the whole point. All of the pain and suffering is not just a preparation that will bring us to good, but really the good was there. The bad itself is itself good. Can you do it like it says, this whole idea of Geula, like we said before, that the word of Geula, the redemption, it comes from two words, Gola, exile, that's 4/5 of the world. word and just put an aleph in it and boop, the whole thing, even the bad things, transform to be good. That by means of the revelation of the aleph, the oneness of God in the world, as this transforms the whole world to be something good. And now we are on Shabbat Mavorchim, the Shabbat which blesses the month of Av. The Shabbat when we bless the Menachem of is bad and Menachem is good, and it even transforms the of to be good. So if so, we feel now we're on Shabbat. This coming Shabbat, we bless. It's the last Shabbat of this month of Tammuz, so we say the whole Psalms and we bless. Also, we make a special blessing for the coming month. We bless even more the inner intention of the exile. That's what it means. Make here Israel. Here means outside of Israel, in exile. Then in Shabbat in general, and all the Shabbat in these 3 weeks, we are found in a revealed way that this gives power and ability to make here the land of Israel, to bring the future redemption in actual, everywhere. And this will also add more in our generation, and especially in now our time. And especially now in this year, when the first day of is, and this year is on Yom Shishi, by us it's on Shabbat, that then everything is prepared for the meal. Adam Marisha, by the Rebbe, was on Shishi, by us. The Shabbat is the day that's total rest. It says like the world to come. So if the first day of Menachem Av, which we said Menachem Av itself gives power to transform the bad into good, if that falls on Shabbat, so we are found now what's called in the 6,000th era year, which in the 7,000th the Moshiach has to come. It says in itself we are Erev Shabbat after midday. Right, we're into the 6,000th year. It's like Friday. It says right before Shabbat. So all the signs of the redemption are always already here. Remember, by the Rebbe now, the Iron Curtain fell, and Saddam Hussein shot these massive missiles into Israel. It didn't do anything, didn't harm anybody. Like it's known and advertised, and the previous Rebbe advertised that we've finished all of the work, and we've even shined up the buttons for the parade, and we finished all of our preparations, and everything is prepared for the big meal for Mashiach to come. We can come to the table and we can eat from the meal of what's called Leviathan, this big fish, and the Shor Habar, and this spiritual fish will be physical, and the spiritual ox. Why? Because the Mashiach is already here. Okay, what are we supposed to do? Actually, this we will talk about, God willing, tomorrow, Friday.